Next week on The Young and the Restless, Jack has to come to grips with trusting Billy. Here's a look ahead at the episodes we'll see from Monday, August 18th to Friday, August 22nd, 2025. On The Young and the Restless, Holden Novak doesn't have too many allies in Genoa City, so when he can meet a new friend, it's probably a good thing, except he doesn't know who he can trust. There are certainly enough people who he could meet that would share the same social circles, but Holden only knew of Genoa City and its residents through his one-time best friend and boss, Damien Cain. Before Damien was murdered, he and Holden had a falling out, leaving Holden with only knowing Aristotle Dumas, only he has turned out to be someone else. Holden never met Aristotle Dumas until after he'd been fired by him. While the rest of his guests were trapped at his estate in the French Riviera, Cain Ashby whisked himself off to Genoa City, flying under the radar of most. But there, he met with Holden and introduced himself with his real name. He gave Holden a job again, but since then, Lily warned him not to trust Cain at all. Now, Holden is wondering who to trust and who is a plant by Cain, just like Cain asked Holden to do for him. When Holden meets Daniel, he's no exception. Meanwhile, Cain's reach isn't unnoticed by anyone, including Chelsea, who gave Billy the benefit of the doubt. But now, she's not so sure she should have. Regardless of what Billy and Cain are really up to, Billy owns Abbott Communications, which is in direct competition with Newman Media, where Chelsea and Adam work together. When Chelsea finds out that Sally will be leading Abbott Com, she wonders what exactly Billy will be doing. Nate knows that no one in town understands Audra the way that he does, but unfortunately, some of them know her a little better than he does. Or at least, they know more about what she's been up to than Nate does. Claire, however, wants to remedy that. Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here is your weekly recap of The Young and the Restless for the episodes that aired August 8th through 11th, 2025. This week on The Young and the Restless, Nate was suspicious when Audra informed him that she was walking away from Victor's financial backing. Claire wondered if it was a mistake to believe Kyle over Audra. Claire was shocked when she spied Kyle and Audra kissing. Nate and Victoria commiserated over their grief. Claire stopped short of telling Nate about Audra's shenanigans when she found out he was on his way to Damien's funeral. Victoria excoriated Victor for hurting his family by interfering in their relationships. Lily found Holden arriving at Cain's hotel suite, but Holden covered his association with Cain by claiming Dumas had summoned him to discuss a business opportunity. Holden was stunned to hear about Damien's death. Nick and Adam grilled Billy about his affiliation with Cain, and Adam intervened when Nick and Billy almost scuffled. Victor confronted Nikki about nearly handing over Chancellor to Cain. Victor filled Nick and Nikki in on his plan to distract Cain from pursuing Chancellor by helping him get control of Jabot. Victor enlisted Nick's help to befriend Cain. Lily offered to help Cain break the news of his secret life to the twins, but only if he told her everything about his plans for Genoa City. Lily refused to believe Cain's fib that he was only interested in acquiring Chancellor. Adam and Chelsea interrupted Nick and Sharon from sharing another kiss. Adam moved forward with publishing articles to expose Dumas's identity and trash Billy and Cain in the media. Nick apologized to Cain for Adam supposedly running the articles prematurely, but Cain had doubts about Nick's sincerity. Daniel advised Phyllis to get out of Cain's plan before it blew up. Tessa feared her marriage to Mariah might be over. Mariah threatened to distance herself from Sharon if her mother kept pressuring her to open up. Daniel confided to Danny that he was starting to have feelings for Tessa, but he was determined to get past them. Christine requested that Daniel keep Phyllis away from Danny and Christine's wedding. Chance was buried close to where Nina lived in LA. The Young and the Restless scoop for Monday, August 18th reveals Audra Charles will continue lying to Nate Hastings. Also coming up, Claire Newman will tell Nikki Newman she plans to fight dirty. Plus, Lily Winters will warn Holden Novak about working for Cain Ashby. And Nick Newman will ask for Phyllis Summers' help. Y&R spoilers tease Cain and Lily will reach a stalemate about talking to their kids together. "Do you want my help or not?" she'll angrily ask him. Cain will ask if it's possible for her to give him another chance, but she'll refuse. So Cain will say he'll talk to the kids himself. Then Holden will show up, and he'll say he's there about the job. What kind of job? Lily will ask. Cain will say he wants Holden to manage all his properties in Genoa City. Whatever Cain is offering you, I think you should stay away, Lily will advise. And if you don't, I think you should watch your back. But Holden will say he's a good boss. Good luck with the kids, Lily will tell Cain as she leaves. At Society, Phyllis and Nick will discuss Summer Newman. Phyllis will worry their daughter will never come home from Italy because of Claire and Kyle Abbott. Regardless, talk will turn to Cain. Nick will say he'd like to be allies with him. Phyllis will laugh and say she's not about to spill her guts about everything she knows. I'm not asking you to tell me anything, Nick will reply. I mean what I say about Cain. Phyllis will ask what he wants to get out of it. Nick will say he'd like a little peace after everything they all went through. How are you going to convince Cain you're sincere, so he lets his guard down? Phyllis will ask. Nick will say she's close to Cain. Perhaps she'd be able to smooth the way. Then Lily will show up and say she's worried about her kids. She'll talk about how hurt and furious they sounded when she talked to them. If he hurts them any more than he has, then he's going to have to deal with me. Meanwhile, Nikki will try to encourage Claire to forgive her grandfather and reach out to Victor Newman. Maybe it's time I walk away from him, she'll reply. Then they'll talk about Audra, and Claire will say she's vicious and still trying to make her think there's something between her and Kyle. She just made sure I saw them kiss. It was staged for my benefit, Claire will add. And she's going to fight back, just as dirty. What exactly are you talking about? Nikki will ask. Claire will promise her there won't be any kidnapping or any poison. However, she believes that Nate deserves to know what Audra's been up to, including going around kissing another guy. As soon as Nate is back, I'm going to blow Audra out of the water, she'll tell Nikki. Finally, Nate and Audra will talk about how awful it was seeing Amy Lewis so heartbroken at Damien Cain's service, yet another funeral that took place off-screen, robbing viewers of any kind of emotional beats. We have to keep an eye on her, Nate will tell his girlfriend. All we can do is be there for her, Audra will say, and I'm here for you too. But Nate will say they need to talk about Victor and Vibrante. It feels off to me, like you're holding back, he'll add. I think there's more to what happened with Victor, and I want to know what it is. Audra will tell him he's not giving her enough credit. She'll remind him she walked away from Tucker McCall too. Please, keep treating me like a sellout who would do anything for $1. That's not insulting at all, she'll shout. But Nate will say he doesn't see her that way. So, he'll ask if she's giving up on Vibrante for good. Audra will say she's going to let it go and work with Sally Spectra at Abbott Communications. Then she'll try to convince him to drop the subject, but to no avail. I think there's more to your decision, Nate will say. More you're not telling me, and I'm not happy about it. Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news, and make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at CBS.com. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, August 19th reveal that Holden Novak's crush on Claire Newman will spell trouble while Diane Jenkins Abbott insists on having a honeymoon do-over. At the Abbott mansion, Diane will have some surprises in store for Jack Abbott. Jack and Diane's belated honeymoon plans were derailed thanks to all the drama in Nice, so Diane will want to make things right. That's why Diane will show off her romantic side and take Jack on a little getaway. It may actually involve a staycation at home for now, with the promise of real travel plans later. Regardless, Diane and Jack will share some drinks, so they'll make a toast to their enduring love and enjoy the honeymoon do-over that's on the way. Over with Phyllis Summers, she'll give Cain Ashby some guidance, whether he wants it or not. Phyllis might mention that Nick Newman is fishing for an alliance and argue that it'd be better to have the Newmans on Cain's side, or at least let them think they are. At the same time, Phyllis might also warn Cain to keep his guard up since nobody can be trusted in Genoa City. That especially includes Cain, since he's told so many lies and kept so many secrets. Other Y&R spoilers say Holden will struggle with some unexpected feelings for Claire. What started out as friendship will start to become more on Holden's end, so he'll try to resist the crush that's forming. The more Holden gets to know Claire, the stronger his feelings are going to get. It's clear that Holden's attraction to Claire is going to spell trouble, but he'll do his best to fight it for now. As for Claire, she may vent to Holden about Audra Charles as she prepares to blow up her relationship with Nate Hastings. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Audra will scramble to explain in the coming episodes, so stay tuned for the stunning news Nate will eventually receive. It feels like the Young and the Restless writers overlooked what could have been a great twist in Claire's current love story with Kyle. This week on The Young and the Restless, Claire walked into society and found Audra kissing Kyle, which was originally part of Audra's plan with Victor to lure Kyle away from Claire. We know how much Victor distrusts Kyle, hates that he's an abbot, and believes that Kyle will break his granddaughter's heart eventually. Claire obviously doesn't trust Audra, but what she doesn't realize is that when Kyle and Audra were in Nice, France, during the big revelation of Aristotle Dumas as Cain Ashby, Kyle did not immediately push Audra away when she kissed him in his room. He kissed her back, looked like he was enjoying it, and continued kissing her on his bed before he told her that he was on to her game. Kyle has been acting like the innocent party in front of Claire when he knows darn well he's not entirely innocent. True, he didn't sleep with Audra, but some of us still regard kissing as cheating. The past few months, we've seen a growing friendship between Claire and Holden on The Young and the Restless. It started when they met at the Genoa City Athletics Club bar, and he acquainted her with the Vesper Martini. Their friendship deepened when he comforted her through her grief after her father, Cole, died. Unfortunately, Cole died while Kyle was in Nice and couldn't console Claire because Cain tricked his guests into thinking that no cell phone service was available on his estate. Many of us expected Kyle to cheat because, let's face it, he's done it before. During his first marriage to Summer, he cheated on her with Lola. The minute he asked for a separation from Summer during their second marriage, he jumped into bed with Audra. Claire is considered an innocent goody two-shoes and is in her first romantic relationship because her Aunt Jordan didn't allow her to have a social life when she was growing up. So it would have been an interesting twist if the writers had surprised us and shown us a different side to Claire, a Claire who would have given in to temptation and engaged in comfort sex with Holden, or even a comfort kiss. Who knows? Maybe she could have even caught some feelings for him in the process. And then, after Kyle came home from Nice, we could have seen Claire wringing her hands with guilt and not knowing whether to confess to him or keep it a secret. It could have been an interesting twist from what we were expecting to happen. In the end, maybe she would have concluded that Holden is the better man for her after all. Perhaps she will turn to him after she learns that Kyle engaged in all those heated kisses with Audra in Nice. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of August 18th suggest some curveballs are ahead. Fans can expect Lily Winters to play a dangerous game. However, is Cain Ashby playing games as well? Meanwhile, Nick Newman and Sharon Newman face a setback. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Lily, who is taking Victor Newman's suggestion about Cain. The tycoon seems to have hope when he was contacted by Lily, asking for a meeting. About halfway through that meeting, Lily found an opening to get what she wants from Cain. However, Cain is a crafty guy and has learned a lot over the years. One interesting moment was that Cain claimed he now gets sick from flying, something Lily doesn't recall from his younger years. So, that could be a clue. Cain seems like a bright guy who has learned to read people very well. Although a few of his statements have caught Lily off guard, Cain could be making a risky gamble. The man might hope that he can charm Lily back into his bed. Although Lily pretends to hate the man, I wonder if she's just covering up her own feelings. The Young and the Restless. Spoilers for the week of August 18th reveal that Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson will have some conflict. Chelsea will continue advocating for Billy Abbott. However, with everyone learning about Cain and Billy's alliance, they are all assuming the worst. It seems that Adam and Chelsea could have some romantic obstacles over Billy. Over with Nick, he will be on fire to help Victor defeat Cain. There is a lot that Nick is fuming about when it comes to Cain. However, I wonder if Nick will go too far, and that could explain Sharon Newman seeing a new side to the man. There is also Claire Grace Newman, who could give Audra Charles a dose of her own medicine. When Nate Hastings returns from Chicago, he could get a startling dose of reality from Claire's bombshell. How does Audra expect to talk herself out of this one? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of August 18th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, August 18th to August 29th, reveal that Victor Newman will throw a curveball while Nightmare Audra Charles is unleashed. Phyllis Summers will also make a sneaky move for Cain Ashby, so let's talk about all the shocking news to come. During the week of August 1822, Cain will make another failed attempt to win Lily Winters back. Lily will refuse to help Cain smooth things over with the kids in the end, so Cain will be on his own when he calls them. After Nick Newman seeks Phyllis' help to establish his Cain alliance, she may put in a good word for him. However, Phyllis may also think Cain should keep his guard up when it comes to the Newmans or anyone else he might partner with in Genoa City. Over with Diane Jenkins Abbott. She'll find a way to make up for her failed honeymoon with Jack Abbott. Jack will give Diane some Billy updates as well and hope his inside man gig doesn't end in disaster. Holden Novak will also struggle with his growing feelings for Claire Newman, who'll move forward with telling Nate Hastings some crucial information about Audra. Audra will try to make Kyle Abbott look like the one who seduced her, but that's not true. Nate will ultimately push Audra for the real story after Claire rats her out for romantic sabotage on Victor's orders. Claire should tell Nate about Audra kissing Kyle at Society too, but Audra will try to spin things and hold on to Nate for as long as she can. Elsewhere, Daniel Romalotti Jr. will start to see Tessa Porter with fresh eyes now that he's developing more romantic feelings for her. Other Y&R spoilers say Billy Abbott will push Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman for answers, so that may be the result of more hit pieces and Billy backlash. While Jack gives Kyle some guidance next, Victor will make a choice that shocks everyone. Whether it's related to Victor's feud with the Abbotts, his potential Cain alliance, or something more personal, Victor's move will deliver a curveball. Across town, Cain will have a job for Phyllis to get started on. Since Cain already mentioned the possibility of Phyllis hacking the major corporate players and doing a little shopping, she may prove she's totally committed to this Cain scheme. The week of August 25th to 29 will bring some other bold moves and heated confrontations. Despite Audra's attempt to fix things with Nate, he may not see a path forward for them romantically anymore. Audra could be a dangerous woman if she ends up with nothing left to lose. Will Audra make herself even more of a nightmare for Claire and Kyle to contend with? If Claire finally realizes how far Kyle took his trap for Audra, she's not going to be happy about it. Kyle made out with Audra in a towel and pretended he was about to devour her in bed, so he's not quite as innocent as he wants Claire to believe. As for Nick and Adam, they'll keep doing the whole good cop, bad cop thing as they try to score Victor's approval along the way. Nick may manage to get closer to Cain as they form an alliance. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 2 weeks will bring growing excitement, so stay tuned. General Hospital spoilers reveal that Tristan Rogers is dead at 79 after a battle with lung cancer. GH and Y&R fans are mourning the loss now that the sad news has been confirmed. ABC 7 Eyewitness News reports that Rogers' manager, Meryl Sudak, said the beloved actor passed away on the morning of Friday, August 15th. Despite never being a smoker, Rogers suffered through a lung cancer fight that ultimately ended his life. However, Tristan Rogers' memory will live on since he spent decades delighting soap fans with fantastic performances. There's no denying that Rogers had a special charm and lit up the screen whenever he appeared. Sudak made a statement about how much Rogers' role on GH meant to him and how it grew into something far bigger than he could have imagined. He loved being Scorpio, and he created that role from nothing. He was supposed to work a day, and he ended up making it into something huge. He was just a genuinely loyal, kind human being, and he loved his family, Sudak said. Although Rogers was best known for playing Robert Scorpio, many fans remember him from his days of playing Colin Atkinson on Y&R as well. Colin was a very different character, but he was always entertaining and stirred up trouble whenever he was around. Our hearts go out to Tristan Rogers' loved ones as they cope with this difficult blow. It's always hard to lose someone too soon, but it's nice to see fans sharing soap memories on social media and praising Rogers' work. Rogers made his final GH appearance in July, when he reprised the role of Robert long enough to welcome Sasha Gilmore Corbin and Daisy Gilmore into his home in France. Now Sasha and Daisy are enjoying some bonding time with Robert and Holly Sutton off-screen, but the show will presumably have some form of a Robert memorial and tribute show down the road. General Hospital spoilers say some shockers are still to come in Port Charles, so we'll bring you what's next. The Young and the Restless spoilers Adam's vendetta, Chelsea's warning, and Victor's silent intervention. Genoa City is a place where old grudges never die. They sharpen into weapons. Adam Newman feels that truth every night inside the gleaming walls of Newman Media, where his latest obsession has been forging into something dangerous, a takedown of Billy Abbott. On the surface, Adam tells himself it's about accountability, market stability, and the responsibility of the press. He frames his exposé as a service to shareholders, a piece designed to question Billy's erratic leadership and shaky track record. But beneath the polished rhetoric beats something darker, the unresolved trauma of a Halloween night long ago, one that Billy has never let Adam forget. For Adam, turning pain into punishment feels intoxicating, and this new article becomes his chosen weapon. Chelsea, however, sees through him. Invited into Adam's orbit, she refuses to bless his crusade. Her instincts tell her that this story isn't just about Billy, it's about Cain, lurking in the shadows, pulling strings and feeding evidence into Adam's file. Chelsea warns that Adam is being set up, that Cain is manipulating rivalries to destabilize Newman, Chancellor Winters, and Jabot alike. Where Adam sees vengeance, Chelsea sees a trap. Adam pushes forward anyway, convinced that Chelsea's hesitation is nothing more than loyalty to Billy. He sets a publication time, signals legal to brace for blowback, and prepares to unleash a story sharpened like a blade. But Chelsea moves quickly. She reaches out first to Chloe, knowing the fallout will ripple through families and children. Then, she discreetly alerts Victor Newman, the only man capable of stopping Adam before disaster strikes. And Victor does stop it. Just as the article is set to go live, the publishing queue is frozen at the network level. Adam instantly recognizes the move as Victor's. No lectures, no arguments, only a command for a full provenance audit before anything runs. What Adam had framed as justice now reveals itself as a near catastrophe, a scheme engineered by Cain to collapse under scrutiny and damage everyone in its path. Chelsea, weary but resolute, writes a resignation letter she leaves unsent. She chooses not to be complicit, not in this war, and quietly begins building a different kind of plan, one grounded in patience, alliances, and careful exposure of Cain's machinations. For her, restraint is not weakness, it is strength. Billy, meanwhile, senses the storm before it breaks. Though rattled by whispers of an impending hit piece, he wakes to find no headlines and takes the reprieve as a gift. Cain, on the other hand, discovers meetings canceled and doors closing, proof that Victor and Chelsea's quiet maneuvers have begun to cut off his momentum. For Adam, the aborted publication leaves him alone with an uncomfortable truth. His rage nearly destroyed his own credibility. The victory he sought would have been hollow, a wound inflicted not just on Billy, but on himself. And so, for the first time, he opens a new file. Not a verdict, but a question. The Young and the Restless, spoilers and updates tease. There might be some drama at the launch party, a fake best friend situation, and a super couple facing challenges. Excitement is coming to Genoa City, so let's talk about the surprises coming up on the CBS soap. To begin with, Abbott Communications is preparing for their launch party as Sally Spectra finalizes the last details. Sally aims to make a big impression with the new media company, which Billy Abbott has now allowed her to manage. There's no reason to postpone what's coming, since Billy expects to take over Chancellor eventually. However, issues might arise if the launch party doesn't go smoothly. We can't rule out Cain Ashby trying to ruin the event, as he has shown he's untrustworthy. Jack Abbott declined to make a deal. And Billy's insider plan is something Cain might easily see through, so there's a chance Cain could target Abbott communications. Will Sally and her launch party face the consequences? Regarding Nick Newman, he will proceed with a fake friendship with Cain and follow Victor Newman's instructions. Nick aims to form a partnership and redirect Cain's focus towards a Genoa takeover rather than one at Chancellor. However, there's no assurance that Nick will manage to persuade Cain that they are suddenly best friends. Nick's change in attitude may raise suspicions and could make Cain cautious. If Cain realizes that Nick is manipulating him, things could go horribly wrong. Cain is no fool, so it will be intriguing to see if he can outsmart the situation and keep the Newmans alert. In the meantime, a well-known Y&R super couple will face challenges due to the ongoing corporate turmoil. Victor and Nikki Newman's relationship has endured many trials over the years, but their marriage is about to face another challenge. Nikki clearly disapproves of Victor's intention to undermine Jack and his family business. She feels the Abbotts don't deserve mistreatment, but Victor has a different view and won't hesitate to sacrifice them. Depending on how the situation unfolds with Cain, Nikki and Victor's bond could become strained. The feud between Victor and the Abbotts goes back many years. The more trouble Victor causes for Jack and Genoa, the more difficult things may become for Victor's marriage to Nikki. Young and the Restless spoilers for next week on Y&R. See Claire Grace Newman hits Nate Hastings with a massive truth bomb. Meanwhile, Holden Novak is getting paranoid. Plus, Billy Abbott stuns Chelsea Lawson Newman. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we've got the latest Y&R spoilers for the week of August 18th. Please click that subscribe button if you're not already following us. Hit that like while you're at it too. All right, let's get started with Billy and Chelsea first. At the end of this week, Adam Newman told Chelsea that he published the story revealing Dumas as Cain. Chelsea was excited until Adam said the article made Billy look bad. What was refreshing for Adam to hear, and it took him by surprise, was Chelsea said her ex Billy brought it on himself. At this point, all the Newmans, including Chelsea, who's an ex-Newman, know that Billy is conspiring with Cain Ashby. So, linking them in the hit piece made sense. But then Billy came storming into Adam's office, claiming the Newman family stabbed him in the back. What's bizarre is Billy wasn't mad that they made him look bad. He was more upset that the Newmans went after Cain. What's crazy, though, is that Sally Spectra wanted to publish the Cain is Dumas story ASAP, and now they've dropped the ball. Newman Media beat Abbott.com to the punch, bringing that story out first. It's kind of on them, because Sally's so busy planning the launch party, and Billy's so busy holding grudges and plotting that they let a golden opportunity slide. This was a chance to launch their media company with a huge story that had an insider perspective. Billy tells Adam that coming at Cain like that was not a smart move. He said it's going to come back to bite them. But Adam mocks Billy and calls him Cain's yapping attack dog. Adam tells Billy to go ahead and have Abbott.com do a rebuttal if he's so worried about it. It's kind of strange that Billy is more worried about the threat Cain poses than himself being dragged through the mud. Then again, Billy told Sally he's hoping to get Chancellor back without any help from Cain. So, this is all feeling like very sloppy stuff from Young and the Restless head writer Josh Griffith. That guy needs to go, to be honest. Jill Farron Phillips is back working at Y&R, and I just hope they are gearing up to kick Josh to the curb and put her in charge. She had some problems too as a showrunner, but it's got to be better than Josh, right? Anyway, Adam is poking more at Billy at the end of this week, saying that he's always a failure. Chelsea finally tells Adam to just stop it. Then Billy thanks Chelsea and says she's sweet to stick up for him. Billy claps back at Adam, saying how he's going to win and do a victory lap, blah blah. Chelsea tells Adam she's worried it's not over. In Y&R spoilers for next week, Chelsea runs into Billy, who's out with Sally. Chelsea asks Billy if Sally's running Abbott.com, what does that leave Billy doing? He tells Chelsea that he's got some exciting news of his own. Billy promises he will tell Chelsea soon. Well, tell her what? He's plotting to steal Chancellor from Nikki Newman and Victor Newman, her once and presumably future in-laws. That seems like a crazy thing to tell her, right? If Billy actually tells Chelsea what he's planning with Chancellor, and she doesn't tell Adam and the Newmans, that could cause huge problems for her relationship. It would mean Chelsea is protecting Billy while he attacks Nikki. On the flip side, it's not like the Newmans don't know that Billy really wants Chancellor for himself. Also, towards the end of this week, we saw Audra Charles pushing Claire too far. Audra grabbed Kyle Abbott for a kiss at Society right as Claire walked in. Audra said some real crappy stuff about Claire's man, basically implying Kyle wants more than Claire, who's just a basic B. Audra was implying Claire is vanilla, and that she is all the spice. You know, that's kind of true. But at the same time, Audra doesn't really know who Claire is, because Claire's got a lot of secret sauce of her own. Kyle reassured Claire, but she's had it. She went home and saw Nate there talking to her mom, Victoria Newman. Claire was just about to tell Nate everything that Audra's done, but Victoria stopped her. Nate was heading to Chicago to bury his brother Damien Cain. Claire realized the time wasn't right. Next week in Young and the Restless spoilers, it seems to be game on. Nate's back in town, and he's chatting with Claire. He already knew she had something to tell him. Audra kind of brushed it off when he mentioned it. Claire's got the chance when Nate asks her what she wanted to tell him. She says it's about Audra. Claire tells Nate he needs to know about the kind of person Audra really is. Well, that's not good. Unless something or somebody stops Claire, it looks like she's going to drop the bombshell about Audra's dirty deal with Victor to seduce Kyle. At that point, it should honestly be game over for Audra on Young and the Restless. I'm sure Audra will cry, lie, and deny it. But Nate was already suspicious about what was going on with her and Victor. I'm very interested to see if Nate talks to Kyle, who confirms it. Even worse, if Nate finds out Audra tried to use Damien's murder to seduce him while pretending to be in a vulnerable place. Man, that right there would be enough for Nate to walk away from Audra and never look back. Also next week, we've got more on Cain's man in GC, the one buying up all the real estate for him, Holden Novak. Last time we saw Holden, he had dropped by Cain's room at GCAC, and Lily Winters happened to be there. Holden scrambled. He told Lily he'd gotten an invite from Dumas. He played dumb, saying he came by to talk about a business proposition. Lily totally bought it and said no. Dumas really Cain. He's terrible. Don't do business with him. Run the other way. So Holden was able to cover, but that's all going to fall apart soon. I do wonder when Phyllis Summers and Billy are going to be introduced to Holden by Cain, who tells him he's part of the team. It's going to be hard to keep it hidden, so it seems like he has to tell them. If you recall this week, Phyllis was telling Daniel Romalotti all her crazy "I'm about to take over the world with Cain" stuff. Daniel warned her against it. Of course, she didn't listen. Next week in Young and the Restless spoilers, we've got Holden running into Daniel. I'm stretching my brain to think if I've ever seen those two in a room together. Maybe I forgot, but nothing springs to mind. Holden asks Daniel if he is digging for dirt on him. Daniel says no, but Holden asks if Cain put Daniel up to it. Clearly, Holden doesn't trust Cain, or he's working some kind of weird angle with Daniel, who he knows is Phyllis's son. So, it sounds like Holden is watching his back, which is wise when Cain is in the room. Come back for our full weekly spoilers video tomorrow for the week of August 18th through the 22nd on Young and the Restless. Young and Restless fans are on the rampage, and rightly so, after the posthumous treatment received by a core character who was arguably treated like a day player even before his death. As we dive into this insult, be sure to drop your vote at the end. Chance, the last remaining on-screen member of one of Young and Restless' original families, the Chancellors, was reduced to playing the town cop before being killed off during Cain Ashby's train maze misadventure in Nice, France. We could understand the need to write him out, given that Connor Floyd was leaving Y&R to take a role on Days of Our Lives. But we hoped against hope that the detective would just be written out, thus leaving the door open for a future return by Floyd or a recast. Instead, he perished on screen. Sadly, Chance's presence at the chateau in Nice has never been properly explained. There was a vague reference to Cain thinking someone was out to kill him, but no follow-up, so we don't even know why Chance died. But it gets worse. One of the biggest complaints about the Adventures of Ashby storyline is that Jill wasn't involved. Indeed, it would have added a significant impact to Chance's death to have had his beloved grandmother there when it occurred, but she wasn't. In fact, she wasn't even allowed to be angry with Cain about him inviting Chance to what would ultimately be his demise. If all of that isn't bad enough, the writers managed to diss Chance and the Chancellor family one last time as they handled the aftermath. When Christine and Danny popped up on an episode of Young and Restless this week, we were shocked to learn that Chance's funeral had already taken place off-screen in Los Angeles, rather than in Genoa City. Seriously, the only possible positive to come out of this would have been fans getting to mourn along with the Nina and Jill. Or at least his exes. We've not set eyes on Abby or Dom, Summer's off-screen, and Sharon will react as though she hardly knew him. The whole reason we're here is for those feels, folks. Fans were not shy about expressing their thoughts. But that's not all. In one final insult, we had to hear characters lament that Nina had lost her only son, when we all know full well she has two. Yes, the writers managed to delete Chance's brother, Nina's other son, Ronan Malloy, from the show. Whether it was inadvertent or deliberate, it defined the term adding insult to injury. We have to call the fumbles as we see them, and this one was a biggie by Young and Restless. Do you think Chance deserved to have an on-screen funeral? Vote! The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Friday, August 15th, 2025. Fans can expect Sharon Newman to see a new side to Nick Newman. Adam Newman loses patience with Chelsea Lawson, plus, Cain Ashby makes a promise to Lily Winters. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Billy Abbott, who is trying to save the Abbott family and company from Cain's plans. However, a lot of people are doubting Billy. Jack Abbott has doubts about putting their entire faith in Billy. Meanwhile, Sally Spectra has asked Billy to step aside and let her take over. Meanwhile, we have Chelsea, who keeps trying to protect Billy from Victor Newman's plan. So far, Adam has been able to delay publishing the hit piece, but Chelsea's loyalty to Billy is really going quite far. It turns out that Adam and Chelsea will have some conflict. Later in the week, Chelsea will be forced to pick a side. Clearly, Chelsea loves Adam and doesn't want to risk her relationship, especially since things seem to be going so well. However, Chelsea also feels loyalty to Billy, not just because he's the father of her son, but because he literally saved her from taking her own life. The Young and the Restless. Spoilers for Friday, August 15th reveal that Lily decided to approach Cain with a meeting. However, once she got there, it seemed like she wasn't sure what to say. Victor has asked Lily to get close to Cain to find out his plans. However, that is very risky for Lily, as it means she could fall in love with him again. There is also the chance that Cain already suspects Lily's game. It seems that Cain watches and observes people, looking for patterns of behavior. By the time Cain approaches someone, he already knows how they will react. It's an interesting advantage, and one Lily might not see coming. It is also stated that Sharon will see a new side to Nick. This doesn't sound good. With Nick fuming and getting even more infuriated with Cain, could he make a sinister transformation? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that there could be some launch party drama, a fake BFF disaster, and a super couple that gets tested. Some excitement's on the way in Genoa City, so let's discuss the curveballs ahead on the CBS soap. For starters, Abbott Communications is finally gearing up for their launch party since Sally Spectra has been sorting out the last details. Sally is hoping to make a splash with the new media company, which Billy Abbott has agreed to go ahead and let her run now. There's no point in delaying the inevitable, since Billy fully anticipates taking control of Chancellor sooner or later. However, trouble could be brewing if this launch party doesn't go according to plan. We couldn't put it past Cain Ashby to sabotage the bash since he's proven he can't be trusted. Jack Abbott refused to strike a deal with Cain, and Billy's inside man plot is something Cain may see right through. There's the potential for Cain to fight back and attack Abbott Communications in the process. So will Sally and her launch party pay the price? As for Nick Newman, he'll move forward with a phony Cain friendship and carry out Victor Newman's orders. Nick will do his best to establish an alliance and keep Cain's attention on a Djibouti takeover instead of one at Chancellor. That said, there's no guarantee Nick will successfully convince Cain that they're suddenly BFFs. Nick's attitude adjustment will be suspicious and could leave Cain with his guard up. Things could take a disastrous turn if Cain figures out Nick's playing him and retaliates. Cain wasn't born yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see if he can be smart about this and keep the Newmans on their toes. Meanwhile, a popular Y&R super couple will be tested thanks to all the corporate chaos. Victor and Nikki Newman's love has survived a lot over the years, but their marriage is about to take another hit. Nikki obviously doesn't approve of Victor's plan to throw Jack and his family business under the bus. The Abbotts don't deserve that, as far as Nikki's concerned, but Victor disagrees and will have no problem feeding them to the wolves. Depending on how it all plays out with Cain, Nikki and Victor's relationship may become strained. The more trouble Victor makes for Jack and Jabot, the worse things may get in Victor's marriage to Nikki. The Young and the Restless spoilers say several storylines will bring stunning news and heated confrontations, so stick with us for updates on all the turmoil.